20 years of doing this radio show. He is Tim Kurkjian. He is joining us right now. You can check out Tim's podcast, which he does with his son, Jeff. Is this a great game or what? Which is perfectly named by Tim Kurkjian and his son. It comes out every Monday, wherever you get your podcast. Tim, how much fun has that been for you and your son to do that together?
It's been the highlight of my career, and I don't care how corny that sounds. It's something my son and I have always wanted to do together. He's really good at this, but he's not a baseball expert by any means. And since I don't know anything about anything other than baseball, basketball, and sitcoms from the 60s, he fills in every other gap. He knows everything about music. He knows everything about pop culture. He knows a lot about a lot of stuff. So we go back and forth. We have a lot of fun. We laugh a lot. Our guests have been absolutely hilariously funny, almost every one of them. This has been the best time I've ever had doing anything, is doing a podcast with my son.
I don't want to put you in a bad spot here, but what was the career highlight before you started this podcast with your son?
Well, Hank Aaron joined us on the air during a game several years ago for 4 innings. So I sat next to Hank Aaron.
Wow.
For 4 innings during a game. It was Dave Fleming, Eduardo Perez, and myself. And I was so captivated sitting next to Hank Aaron, who was so funny. His stories were so good. His recall was amazing. It was so good, I stopped keeping score of a game that I was calling because I didn't care about the game. I only cared about him. And when it was over, I checked Twitter. Never a good idea to check Twitter after you've called the game.
Right.
And some guy wrote in, he said, if you ever meet anybody who looks at you like Tim Kurkjian looked at Hank Aaron tonight,
Frank Aaron,
you should marry that person. That's how captivated we all were by Hank Aaron. That was the highlight of my career until my own son said, we got to do this. And now we've done a podcast for 31 weeks.
what if Hank Aaron wanted to do a podcast with you, Tim?
Oh, wow.
Well, that would have been pretty cool, too. I'll never forget, I also interviewed Willie Mays and Hank Aaron at the same time at Cooperstown like 20 years ago. And there I am standing between, at the time, the 2 greatest living players, and I just went back and forth with them. That was pretty cool, too. I've had a lot of really cool moments covering baseball over the years. That's why, among many reasons, baseball is the greatest game ever.
Tim, we'll get to the series in just a second here. French onion soup, overrated or underrated?
I haven't had it in a long time, but I really like it. But then again, I like virtually everything. I'm the least picky eater in the world. The only thing I don't eat are oysters because I had one and it was bad.
Yeah.
But yes, I really like French onion soup. I can see where people think it's overrated after you get through the cheese on the top.
Thank you.
But I'll take it any day. I think it's still really good.
What is your favorite soup, like your go-to soup?
I'm just a vegetable soup guy.
Makes
I don't
sense.
even need meat in there. I love vegetables. I love all vegetables. You could fire anything in there, and as long as you fill it with sturdy stuff, I'm going to eat it and I'm going to love it, and it's pretty good for you.
Tim, how did the Mets, with the highest payroll in baseball, become this lovable little underdog? I mean,
good point, Stugotz. These gritty little Mets, and they're not the gritty little Mets. They're a really good team, and they have been since the beginning of June. But I'm telling you, fellas, I was there in England this year when they played the Phillies in a 2-game series. Michael Kay, Doug Glanville, and I did the game on TV. And if you remember that Sunday game against the Phillies, the Mets were going to lose the second game of that series, having lost the first one. And with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 9th inning, Nick Castellanos hit that little dribbler out in front of home plate. And Luis Torrens, the catcher, went out and got it, stepped on the plate for a force, and then threw to first for a double play. A 2-3 double play to end a 1-run game. It's the first time in baseball history that play has ever happened to end a one-run game. And I'm telling you, that was the jumping off point that here come the Mets. Like, that crazy play happened, and they started to believe, hey, something special might start to go on here. And ever since then, they've been an awfully good team, and they're not this, sparky little gritty team. They're good in every way.
Tim, another moment people have turned to and said maybe this is when things started changing for the Mets is when they had Francisco Lindor replace Brandon Nimmo in the leadoff spot. They were 2024 when that move was made. They've been 70 and 48 since then. On the other side, the team they're playing against, Shohei Otani has not been good in the playoffs in the leadoff spot. He's been hitting 0-19 with the bases empty, so there's been discussions of kind of moving him back in the lineup because he's been 6 for 8 with runners in scoring position. How do you decide, because obviously the Dodgers had the best team in baseball, they've said they're not going to move him, but how do you decide when it's time to make that move?
All right, now is not the time to make that move, because in today's day and age, when you make that move, it shows a panic on your side, and there's no reason to panic right now. First off, he's going to start to hit again. But there's another reminder here, fellas, just how difficult this game is to play. I mean, Stephen Vogt and I, manager of the Guardians, were saying, we don't know how anyone gets a hit anymore in today's baseball. So to see Aaron Judge struggle like he has until last night, to see Otani struggle, I'm never surprised when these things happen, because you're facing unbelievably good pitching every day, especially in the postseason. So I would leave Otani exactly where he is, because he's going to win the MVP unanimously as a leadoff hitter. Just leave him there. But if I were in charge of this, and I'm an old man now, I would hit him third in the order. So he bats in the first inning every day, but he has a better chance, of course, to come up with somebody on base. But that's just me, old school thinking. The best hitter should hit third on your team, not necessarily first.
Tim, I loved how much you loved that wacky double play that you mentioned earlier. What is the wackiest double play in terms of like numbers that you've seen?
Well, that's the wackiest one because it's never happened before since we started counting grounded into double plays.
Oh, that is unique.
Yes.
Right. And we had another double play this year. I'm going to be close on this. There was a double play this year that had never there was a fly out to the outfield. Can't believe I can't remember this, but it went to center field. The center fielder flipped it to the right fielder, who flipped it to the shortstop, who threw it somewhere. And that double play might even have been a triple play, had never happened before in baseball history. And this is why baseball is so cool. We've played well over 200,000 games in baseball history, and a play happens that has never happened before. These are the things where I go, first time ever, even though that's redundant. It's the first time ever that play has happened. That still should have great meaning to anyone who cares about the game.
It happened in a Marlins game. It was an 8-9-4-2 double play. It was crazy.
Right, crazy. And it had never happened. And it's because the center fielder fell down, so you have to pitch it to the right fielder. Crazy play.
He caught the play, tossed it over to him. Someone was trying to tag up. I think because he fell, they tried to go home from second base and get 2 bases, so it ended up being a double play at home.
Right. Highlight of the Marlins season, Billy. Sorry.
All right, Tim.
Thanks.
Wow.
Sorry.
Tim, it's great to see you.
Right.
Yesterday, there was a report out of the Tampa Bay Times suggesting that Tropicana Field is going to be unplayable for the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, they announced plans for a new stadium, but that's years away. What do you think is the plan for the Tampa Bay Rays going forward? I think I did actually go to a couple Tampa Bay Rays games at Disney's Wild World of Sports several years ago. What are the possible solutions here for this organization?
Well, we're going to have to come up with solutions pretty quickly, because I think that place is going to be unplayable for, I don't know for how long, but they're going to have to start looking. Last night we took the subway home after our game. We've done this 4 nights in a row, where Eduardo Perez, Carl Ravitch, and I get on the subway, and there were like 1 million Yankee fans. It was really a lot of fun. And there was a guy sitting right next to us, and he's the biggest Tampa Bay Rays fan ever. Like, where did that come from? And he said the Rays are not going to play at home next year. Not like he knows anything. they need to go play in Oakland because they can't play in Tropicana Field. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe I've heard, maybe just guessing, they would share the Marlins ballpark because at least it's in Florida. But this is going to be a very difficult situation to handle if they can't get that ballpark ready to go. And from what I'm told, it's going to be hard. This is a bigger issue than people think it is.
They have one of the better spring training complexes in baseball with the Yankees.
They do, yeah.
Residing in Tampa. Is that a possible option? Major League Baseball is already going to be playing. I know they're making alterations to it, but in a minor league ballpark to accommodate the A's while their new stadium is getting built.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And don't forget, we Montreal was supposed to share the Rays for a while, and we thought, they're going to play 81 in Montreal or 41 in Montreal and 41 in Tampa. Again, I don't see that happening, but yes, the Steinbrenner Field in Tampa is a beautiful minor league ballpark, but you can only can't even get 10,000 people in there. But
sounds like the Trop.
Yeah. Sorry, glad you filled that in. So,
Stop being sorry, Tim. Stop it.
It's a problem.
Okay.
Tim, so yesterday there was some base running blunders in New York, and John Sterling said that they looked like they were drunks running the bases. This has been something that has happened for the Yankees this season. Gleyber Torres had one in September. He had another one in August. It led to him getting benched. They're up 2-0 in the ALCS, but is this something that they're going to have to correct because they're not going to always be able to overcome these things?
Yeah, they are up 2-0 in this series, and they really haven't played particularly well. The Guardians in Game 1 had 5 wild pitches and issued 7 walks. The Yankees made 2 horrendous base running mistakes last night, and if it weren't for a couple of errors by the Guardians, it would have been a much closer game. The point here is, fellas, and you don't see me get upset very often, the base running in the big leagues is the worst that I have ever seen it.
Wow.
5 years ago, I wrote a story just on this subject, 7,000 words about how most people don't know how to run the bases in the big leagues today. They're bigger, stronger, faster, and better than ever, and they have no idea how to run the bases. They overpowered the sport with their amazing physical gifts, and yet they don't understand which base to throw to sometimes and how to run the bases. Jazz Chisholm getting picked off second last night. It's incomprehensible how that can happen. Look, I can put up with anything, fellas. If you can't hit 98 miles an hour, I get it. If you can't throw a strike, if you can't catch a ground ball that's hit at 108 miles an hour, I get it. But there is no excuse for running the bases poorly, as the Yankees did last night and as virtually every team does on a nightly basis. If I had made that mistake when I was 16 years old, Mr. Keene would have taken me out of the game and said, "You don't." Yes, he would. You do not deserve to play the rest of this game if you get picked off in that situation. And I saw 2 of the worst base running mistakes I've ever seen in back-to-back games in Seattle this year. There's no sense going into it, but people on the Mariners and the Yankees both acknowledge we've never seen that happen before. Those base running mistakes were so bad. We've never seen it before in our lives. Anybody. That's how bad it was.
Tim, we have less than 30 seconds here. We'll get you out of here. But I know Major League Baseball, I know most of the networks especially, they want a Dodger-Yankee World Series. What does Tim Kurkjian want?
Look, I don't care anymore. I just want to go to the World Series and see it. We're not going to lose no matter what we have. Dodgers, Yankees would be tremendous. Yankees, Mets would be tremendous. Almost anything would be tremendous because there are no prohibitive favorites this year. We have no idea what's going to happen. That's been the beauty of the 2024 season.
The Guardians. That could happen too.
Anything's possible.
All right, Timmy, we love you. We miss you. Enjoy the rest of the postseason. And thank you for doing this during a very busy time.
Okay, fellas. Miss you too. See you.